Welcome to a sports betting podcast from pregame.com for the week of January 15th, 2010. I'm your host, RJ Bell. I'm joined by Marco D'Angelo, 30 years in the business, Vegas runner, genuine professional bettor here in Vegas, star of the CNBC special on sports betting or on gambling. All right, this is segment one of 6 this week, 6 different segments. We're doing a big game preview in the NFL. We got the Arizona Cardinals at the New Orleans Saints. Vegas runner, tell us about the line in this game.
Okay, this is very interesting. Line opened up New Orleans Saints 6.5 and 56. Word is that odds makers here in Vegas sent the total out at 57.5, 58 even, and offshore thought it was too high, and they brought it out at 56. As of today, the line's 7. New Orleans got the 7, and the total's up to 57.5. So it looks like the Vegas odds makers got the marketplace right in thinking people are going to bet over, even though the total is as high as you're ever going to get.
Or, and what we always talk about is, are these early moves true steam, or are they the wise guys getting ahead of the public moves?
Which is definitely a possibility because Green Bay just put up 50 points almost. So
you know, I mean, if there's public likes to bet over.
Arizona, excuse me.
Public likes to bet over. Well, true. I mean, the reaction to that game is going to be drastic. You know, the catchphrase after the game on Sunday was the highest scoring playoff game in history.
Right.
I mean, that resonates.
And that's why we're looking at the highest total in playoff history.
So this
I
is
went
the
back
highest.
20. I know 20 years. In the last 20 years, there's not been a total this high in any playoff game.
That's interesting. I'm going to write that down. I might tweet that out.
That I know for fact.
I'm going to say I came up with it.
Yeah, I got a stat geek that has some good stuff, and he said this is 100% the highest total. He went back and saw 20 years.
All right, so one of the things you do great is you interpret are these early moves legitimate? Are they taking positions to buy back later? If there's ever a game that you think the public's going to bet over, you got 2 high-scoring offenses. They like to bet over in the playoffs anyway because there's such a public game. A lot of guys aren't betting during the regular season or betting in the playoffs. And then you combine off of the highest-scoring game in playoff history for Arizona. It seems like we can't trust that move necessarily.
No, I think you're right. I think it's the wise guys getting ahead of the bettors and seeing that the line was going to go up from 56 because, like you said, the highest scoring game in history, and now they're going up against the number 1 scoring offense in football. The Saints put up the most points. So.
Now, Marco has an official free pick on this, but let me make one point. For a smart bettor, when they see a really high total come out, for them it's like, oh, there might be some value on the under. For a square bettor, they're thinking, wow, the fact there's such a high total validates my initial impression that this is going to be a high scoring game.
Vegas is thinking.
It makes it, if Vegas agrees with me, it is going to go over. So it seems like there's a lot of things leading towards a big public push over here. Marco, you're giving your official free pick. You've been hot on these in general. To give us some details.
Well, the free picks are 15 and 5 for me here.
For you.
For me. And do you guys even have to guess where I'm coming with my pick on this game?
No, I know where you're going, brother.
You know, this is the thing. Public perception, you know, the stock can't be any higher on this game. I mean, this literally is like a stock with this total. It's just going through the roof. The value is on the under in this game, and I'm going to tell you why. First of all, yeah, everybody saw what happened last week. You've heard me talk about ebb and flows of ball games. That game got out of hand early when Arizona got 2 quick scores. That forced Green Bay into an attack mode the rest of the way. And both teams just kept going up and down the field. I mean, Green Bay got to the point in the second half when they scored their first touchdown that they knew they needed to score. They come out with an onside kick early in the second half to get the game back in. Watching the game, if you noted the announcers at one point of the broadcast, during the week, they meet with coaches, staff, and stuff to get some tidbits. They said on air, Arizona felt that they could attack the middle of the Green Bay defense. Remember, Green Bay came into this game with one of the best defenses in the league, except one game they got torched, and that was the Pittsburgh Steelers game. And when you look at the Arizona Cardinals and you look at that coaching staff is all Pittsburgh Steelers disciples. Now you go into this week, an inflated line, and you've got New Orleans coming in that basically has not played a game in 3 weeks. After they lost to Dallas, New Orleans mailed in the last 2 games.
Yeah, they scored 17 points in their last 2 home games in each of them.
Their offense is not going to click on all cylinders right away. They're going to have to get their timing. You can practice all you want, but it is not game speed. And if the game doesn't get into a track meet in that first quarter like it happened last week, that changes the ebb and flow of the game. Then you start playing where you're actually milking clock to protect leads. That never happened last week. This game goes under the total. I'm making a play here.
I agree there. I'm going to tell you why also. Arizona's only played 1 game this year where the total's been 49.5 or higher. That's it. Only 1 total was set that high. And that was, at home. No road game has even been this high. And when you look at the results for Arizona, you think they're a high-scoring team. 6 of their games only went over. 11 went under. Even the Saints, 7 overs, 9 unders. So the tendency for these teams, although the totals have been high, they haven't been going over when they play.
Which is what Vegas is supposed to do and the marketplace is supposed to do. When you have a team that's obviously high-scoring, the public's going to want to go over. You jack it up 3 points, and
that's what happened with New Orleans. New Orleans had a total of 49.5 or above 9 times this season. Only 3 of those games did it go over the total.
So 3 and 6 towards the under when it's been an extremely high total
for New Orleans. Exactly.
All right, so what I like to do occasionally is I hear a lot of analysis. I get to talk to you guys daily, but every once in a while you hear something that you really want to put the spotlight on. You said something I really didn't think of here, the time off factor. Now, Chad Millman, a friend of Pregames that writes for ESPN, he was doing some good bowl stuff. And what he said was, and Vito, you actually contributed to that, and were published at ESPN.com, is he said that one of the biggest factors in scoring in the bowl games is the time off for the team, but from the last game to the game, to playing the bowl game. And it's about timing. Like you said, offense needs timing. So that would apply, you would think, to the NFL the same way. The fact that the case can be made, it's been 3 or even 4 weeks since New Orleans has really played hard, is the timing on the offense is going to be off. When you have the highest total in playoff history,
right,
and you have one team whose timing might be all, even if it's for the first quarter. That's the thing about a total this high. You got to score. It's almost like if you don't score, 14 points a quarter,
you're not going to get there.
It's hard to catch up unless there's a couple of turnovers.
You settle for a couple field goals on long drives, and you screw the total with it being this high.
And the reason, though, because Arizona plays enclosed, in the dome, and now they're going on a road and playing in a dome. The perception is they're going to be comfortable there, and there's going to be a lot of points scored. I think after the way they scored against Green Bay, I think we're going to see the opposite type of game here. I don't expect it to be high flying from both teams and 500 yards of offense.
All right, so you have an official, and we give one official free pick each week. You've been kicking butt on those. Official free pick on the under. Do we wait until game time?
I think that this line's only going to go up.
All right, so your line prediction is it's going to go up. So wait, play as close to game time as possible. Official free play on the under. We got about a minute. I want to make one point. You were talking about how, it was that early score in the Green Bay game that caused it to be this hyper high scoring game. I just want to verify something. I hate when handicappers try to explain away anything, and I don't think you're doing that here. I hate when they're trying to explain away anything that doesn't fit their handicap, because there's always going to be two sides to any side, any total. The key is, are there more things on one side than the other? Clearly, Arizona was scoring like crazy last week. Clearly, Green Bay was scoring like crazy. They were hardly punting. You're saying, though, that they were going to be high scoring regardless, but a couple things here and there maybe made it 21 points higher than it should have been. They still probably would have scored 75. You're saying that a few things made it where it was probably a little bit inflated. But let's not act like that one or two things would have changed, and lo and behold, that game, and you only have about 20 seconds here, lo and behold, that game would have been under 40 or something.
Right.
Quickly.
Flip to the New England-Baltimore game last week. Because Baltimore fell behind 14-0 on first two possessions.
I'm sorry, we got a 10 minutes. We're going to have to break. Okay, we'll do this in the next segment. All right, that's been segment 1. We're up with segment 2 coming up. Remember, you can get all of our stuff at pregame.tv or go to iTunes and search for pregame.com.